What's up you guys, it's Aisling. Welcome back to my channel. This is kind of like a time capsule video. I don't really know what I'm going to call these. I want to test out products that I have loved in the past or that have been holy grails to me. And I just want to test out and see, do I still love them? Does my skin still enjoy them? Are they still long wearing? Am I still, vibing with them? And do I still want to call them holy grail products? And the first product that I really want to test out is the Esteé Lauder Double Wear, because I cannot actually recall the last time I wore this foundation. Like, I know I say, oh, it's my holy grail, it's my holy grail, it's my holy grail, but I don't know when I last wore it. Reason being is because I've discovered other foundations, other products, and obviously the fact that I do beauty content here on my channel, I get to test out an awful lot of foundations, which I am so grateful for. So sometimes things get pushed way into the back like this, and I just want to see, do I still love it? I'm going to apply this foundation like I would apply any old foundation, and I'm just going to see what I'm still thinking of it and talk to you guys a little bit about it, because it's been a hot minute since I talked about it. So let's get this out of the way. I'm going to put a primer on, and the one that I'm taking today is my MAC Prep and Prime. This is the Natural Radiance. I just want to use this because the Esteé Lauder Double Wear is quite flat and very, very, very matte. And I just want to add a little bit of radiance to my skin first before I start. I'm not going to do like a side-by-side comparison, as in primer on one side and not on the other, because I know that this foundation holds up really well. But I just want to see, do I still love it as much, and how does it actually still look on my skin? I want to hazard a guess that it's been approximately a year, maybe more, since I've worn it. And definitely on camera here, it's been years since I've put this on camera, worn this on camera. Actually, probably 18 months. It's been a long time. I'm just going to shake up this foundation. I hope this shade matches me. It is Wheat. I'm going to take this little stipple brush and just apply this to my face. Oh, this foundation just is very nostalgic for me. It just brings back memories. It's so nostalgic. Oh my god, the smell of this. This is one of the first foundations that I ever wore. That I was oh my god, foundations are amazing. Because it lasts all day. And the colour actually matches me perfect. Matches my skin tone. Oh my god, I've literally forgotten how amazing this is for coverage. It's just the best foundation ever for coverage. If you have problematic skin, this would definitely be an amazing foundation to cover everything. So I'm just going to take a flat stipple brush, or flat foundation brush. I can't use my words. Use your words, Aisling. And I'm just going to apply that kind of just to the more trickier areas to get to. Now I'm going to take my beauty blender, and I'm just going to blend this into the skin, because I just prefer the airbrushed effect that the beauty blender gives. And I just use a foundation brush to spread it on initially. So I have a ginormous spot on my forehead, and I have tried everything in my power to cover it up, conceal it, and get rid of it all day or all week, and nothing has worked. No foundation. So I was just okay, I'm just gonna let it live its best life there, just sitting on my forehead. And this foundation's just covered it completely. I still have a couple of my little tiny freckles over my nose peeking through, but other than that, it's kind of covered everything. I know this foundation is really matte, and I actually, looking at it now, I'm just wow, it is such a flat matte foundation. There is no luminous or radiance or anything like this to this foundation. It's just super matte. So for me, with oily skin, it's perfect. But if you have drier skin, it might just make your complexion look a little bit, flat. That's the word that I'm going with. With most foundations with me, especially ones that are more luminous, my oils break them down like nothing else. I do have little dry patches on my skin, even though I'm oily. I'm noticing just around my chin there is a few little dry patches, and just around my nose area a few little dry patches as well. And it is kind of emphasizing them a little bit, so not gonna lie about that. But other than that, this foundation looks super on my skin. Oh, I just forgot just how incredible the coverage of this foundation. So it's just gone 11:50, which is pretty late in the day for me to be starting. But what I am going to do is wear it for 12 hours. So we will get to 10 to 12 tonight. I don't have any major plans today, so I could definitely continue filming. Sorry, everything's just annoying me. My clothes are like digging into me. I'm just like, meh. I'm gonna go on and set this and put my powder on and stuff like that and come back to you guys later on the day and just see how we're getting on, because there's no point in me, there's no need for me to go into too much details in regards to how this looks on my skin, because I know how it performs, but I do want to give you like a little bit of information about this foundation. It has an SPF of 10 in it. That is something that has annoyed me over the years, because I have been to parties, nights out, gotten my picture taken and flash and then look like a ghost. And I'm just like, what has happened to my face? Oh yeah, I was wearing Esteé Lauder Double Wear. Flashback on this is the worst of every foundation I've ever used. So I would not recommend this for like your wedding day or something. I'm sure there's lots of people who wear something like this on their wedding day and they get away with it. But for me, this would not be a wedding day foundation. Listen to me talking about my wedding day. It wouldn't be just something that you would wear around flash photography. The other thing that is about this foundation is it's a stay in place foundation. Now, I cannot stress this enough. Try not to reapply over this foundation throughout the day. You know the way like if your foundation's fading in spots, you might go back in with a foundation brush to try and like, fix it up. Don't do that with this, because what happens is it kind of like clings to the foundation. So the new fresh wet foundation that you put on over the dry foundation, because this dries really quickly onto your skin, and kind of like cakes the area, and it kind of creates like a dark border around where the wet foundation meets the dry. You won't need to reapply this foundation throughout the day. So the other things that I have noticed about this foundation over the years is it is super long wearing, and for me this is like my sweat proof, like heat proof, life proof foundation, because I have been to so many like events, barbecues, nights out, festivals. I've worn this not gonna lie, I have worn this for like 24 hours. That was not a good idea. But it was a long night and there was parties involved, and that's all I'm going to say about that. There is so many things I could say about this foundation that are positive versus negative. So I do recommend this foundation as, like a long-lasting full coverage foundation. I do not recommend this if you have super dry skin and you might have acne breakouts. I do recommend it for someone who has maybe acne breakouts but doesn't have the dryness that comes with it, because I do notice with this foundation it can cling with it because it's so matte. So if you have like breakouts on your skin but they're not dry, does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense. I know like when I get a spot, and sometimes the border of the spot, once it's kind of healed, gets like real dry and crusty, and if I put something like this on it over the years, like I just remember this, it could kind of like cling to the dry crustiness. So I usually recommend to apply like concealer or something to that area and then the foundation everywhere else, but if you kind of have like like pimples on your skin that don't have like that dryness around them, then this will cover them up and you won't have anything. Like this forehead volcano that's going on up here, it doesn't have any dryness around it, and this covers it up. So that is all I kind of want to say about this. It's nearly €40, so it's not cheap. When I first started buying this, like way back in the day, like I'd say maybe like 8 years ago, like 7-8 years ago was the first time I ever tried this, and it was like €32, and that was a lot of money to me back then. I think it's about €38-39 now, depending on where you buy it, but you can get discount codes and stuff like that for it. So it is a high-end, expensive luxury foundation, but for me it's like just up there with one of the best. So that's all I kind of want to say about this foundation, other than the application. I prefer to apply it with a flat shader brush and go in with my sponge afterwards, kind of blend it into the skin, because I feel like it just sits better on my skin. So I'm going to go about, film a few more videos, and I'm going to come back to you then and we'll talk a little bit more about the foundation in a couple of hours, just see how everything else goes on top of it, because I can't recall like how concealer and stuff like that goes on top of it. So I'll come back to you and talk to you about that then. So chat later. Okay guys, let's do the first update of the day on this foundation. It is 3:22. I have no idea what time. Was it 11? Half 11? I'm going to estimate that this foundation has been on for roughly around 4 hours. Well, 4 hours into wear, this looks unreal. It's just how I remember it. There ain't a flaw on my face except for like my own natural kind of like lines and stuff. But this is not sinking into my lines, which I generally have a huge issue with that lately. Foundation sinking into like my smile lines and stuff, because they have become deeper over the last few years. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting older. We're all getting older. We're aging every day. It's so sad. But I have noticed that they've gotten just a little bit more prominent on around my mouth. So like when I smile, you can see like how deep they are there. And I just feel like foundation does get kind of caught in there and emphasizes those lines a little bit more, whereas this foundation isn't doing any of that, and definitely not in between my brows, which I'm super happy about. I knew I would still love Estee Lauder Double Wear because it is like a fail-safe foundation for me. It's always had my back, and sometimes when I steer away from it, kind of like in the last year and a half, I wonder to myself when I try it again, like today, why did I ever go away from it? Because it's so good. I'm going to zoom in for you guys so you can see what my face looks like. I'll up close and personal. I'm really happy with it. I think that my foundation looks really good. My brows totally need to be done, so please ignore. I think that my foundation looks amazing. Every product went on top of it so well. My concealer, my bronzer, my blush, my highlight, everything. It just looks really good. My skin looks so good with this foundation. Why do I not wear it? I don't know. I just think that everything just sits on top of it really well. And it just makes my skin look really, really good. I can't deny it. It hasn't sunken in anywhere. Fine lines, nothing. No rubbing, no wearing. Other than maybe if I missed any spots. But in general, it looks great on my skin and I have no complaints. To be honest, having not worn this foundation in like a year and a half or whatever, I was expecting to be feeling caked and like my foundation was really heavy on my face, but it's actually not. Like, it doesn't feel like extremely heavy, or doesn't feel like I'm wearing an awful lot of product. I'm gonna go and I'll check back with you later on so we can see how it's looking. I'm gonna look back on my footage to see exactly what time I did start this, but I think it was 11:50. I'm thinking that. So I'll talk to you guys later. Okay guys, so it is 7:11 now. So this foundation has been on for roughly around 8 hours, and it's exactly the way I would expect it to be on my face at 8 hours. Remembering this foundation and just knowing what this foundation is like for me, I am a teeny bit oily, which is not like unusual for me because I tend to get oily throughout the day anyway. And I'm not anywhere near as oily as I would normally be with other foundations, but I am just a little bit oilier. You can kind of see in between my head, in between my brows, my chin, and then just kind of like my cheek area. I am going to take a setting powder just to kind of take down any of the extreme oiliness. But I'll zoom in for you guys so you can see what way the foundation is looking on my skin, and you can see exactly how Estee Lauder looks on me after almost 8 hours of wear, which for me is a long time of wearing a foundation. And this is the point of the day where my foundation starts to really break down, but not with Estee Lauder. Oh no. So you can kind of see just a bit of the oiliness and shininess just in between the brows, just the chin, around the nose, and just my cheek area, but my foundation is still intact. And I've been wearing my glasses and there's like a little bit of a dent over my nose, but no wearing or anything like that. Like, it's just one of the most incredible foundations, and like every time I wear this I'm like, yeah, I love this foundation, and it just solidifies how much I love it. So I'm just gonna put some of the powder just onto my chin, not like loads, just a little bit, and just around my nose area. That's the only thing I would ever advise with this foundation, just if you feel like you're getting oily, because it ain't gonna break down on you guys. Like, it's just not. Like, it's not gonna wear away. So you can see that actually looks so much better right now. Bags under my eyes, they're just not cute. I don't want no Gucci's. Like, this foundation does not look heavy at all on my skin or cakey, or like I'm wearing too much product or anything like that. It hasn't worn away anywhere, and I really just love the appearance of this foundation, and it's definitely one of the most suitable foundations for my skin type, my oiliness, everything. It just works well with my skin, and I never have any issues or ever have any faults with it. The only thing I ever say about it is it's not an everyday foundation. Like, I wouldn't be wearing this like 4 or 5 days in a row because it's just a lot of product. It's a heavy duty product. It's not like heavy on the skin, but you just know that it could block pores and cause breakouts and stuff like that. It's never done that to me in the past, but I could just imagine Like, I can't remember what it's like to wear this 4 or 5 days in a row. I used to wear this into college every day, like every day, 5 days a week. I always wore makeup into college. Looking back on that now, I was like, what was I even thinking wearing makeup into college? I would never, ever, ever wear makeup into college right now. Like, if I was in college, I just wouldn't. It just wouldn't be something I would do because I just wouldn't need to. But obviously for work and doing this type of work, I'm wearing an awful lot of makeup. I really love the look of the foundation. 8 hours in. What do you guys think? I'll come back in a few more hours, probably 11, half 11, or 10 to 12 even, because that's when it will be on my face, 12 hours. But I'm quite happy at it. I'm happy with it at this point in the day, and I have no complaints. It's been the best trip down memory lane ever. Okay guys, we're at the end of the night. I actually need to check the exact time that it is. It's 12:03. This foundation has been on for a little over 12 hours, still intact. I haven't blotted or used anything on my face since the last check-in, so my foundation is exactly the way I left it last time. And you can kind of see that I do have my natural oils coming through, like just peeking through in different areas of my face. A little bit of rubbing off around my nose and a tiny little bit of sinking just in between my brows. But in general, my foundation looks unreal. It is exactly how I expected it to be. I wasn't expecting anything less from Esteé Lauder Double Wear, to be fair. I've worn this foundation, like I said to you guys, for so long. And it is like the best money ever to spend on a foundation because I just know that it works and I just love the effect of it on my skin. This is my clubbing foundation as well. And I've mentioned that before. It's not a foundation if I know I'm going to be taking like flash photography. So if I'm just on a night out and I just know that there's going to be no snaps taken, I don't even care if there's pictures taken, I'll wear this because I know it holds up. This is also my foundation of choice if I'm going to a festival and I want my foundation to last the entire day at the festival, because you know the way they start really early in the day and then they'll end late at night or whatever. And I want my makeup to stay intact. So that's exactly why I use this foundation. And like I said, I wouldn't wear this like in consecutive days. Like I wouldn't wear it like it more than 2 days in a row because I just feel like it's just a lot of makeup on my face. It's starting to feel really heavy now at this hour of the day, and like my eye makeup's feeling heavy. I actually really want to take my lashes off because they're just driving me nuts as well. Obviously because it's like after midnight, but I was over with my sister all evening and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll zoom in for you guys. So the foundation looks great on my forehead. It hasn't like sunk anywhere, and like I mentioned to you earlier today, like about my smile lines and stuff, I have an awful issue with foundation lately, like kind of like sinking into those areas, and it hasn't done any of that either. It just looks really, really, really good. I bet if I even blotted now, it would look even better. To be honest, my foundation looks great. Like, top notch. Okay guys, I know I look very different. I actually filmed the video that you're watching, the Esteé Lauder one, back in August, I think July or August. I found a memory stick and it was on it, so I was like, here, I may as well upload this. The whole end of it was blurry, so I don't know what happened there. It was probably when I was showing you the close-up, I forgot to refocus the camera, so it's just me talking for like 4 minutes in blur. So I said I would refilm that. But anyway, I still wanted to upload the video because I feel like it was justified and a few good points in it in regards to Esteé Lauder Double Wear. I'm wearing it again today. Actually, since I filmed that video, like I said, in July or August, I've been wearing this foundation a lot lately, like a lot. I just absolutely love it and I've fallen in love with it. Is that even? I really, really love the foundation. I love how it wears. I love how it looks on my skin. I've worn it so many times, like I said, since. Fallen back in love with it. I just think it's an absolutely epic foundation and I rate it. Like there's nothing really else to say. I kind of said everything throughout the video and showing you the up closes and giving you like my 2 cents in regards to wear and stuff like that. But I just thought I would hop back on here because I just didn't want to leave the ending really blurry, and like it's so strange that I actually found this footage as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed it and I will talk to you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye guys.